The Mike Wagner Show is powered by Sonic Web Studios.
Hi, this is Mia Mosenzel, also known as Mia No Time for Love. Check out my latest book, Missing, available on Amazon.
The Mike Wagner Show, also brought to you by The Sweet Psalmist by Serena Wagner, available on Amazon, highlighting the Book of David.
It's now time for the Mike Wagner Show, powered by Sonic Web Studios. Visit online at sonicwebstudios.com for all your needs. The Mike Wagner Show can be heard on Spreaker, Spotify, iHeartRadio, YouTube, iTunes, Anchor FM, Radio Public, and the MikeWagnerShow.com. Mike brings you great guests and interesting people from all across the globe. So sit back, relax, and enjoy another great episode of the Mike Wagner Show.
Hey everybody, it's Mike from the Mike Wagner Show, powered by Sonic Web Studios, brought to you by official sponsor of the Mike Wagner Show, international warring author Mia Mosenzel, Missing, available on Amazon and paperback and ebook. Coming soon, Missing 2, Double Suspense, Double of Fun. Check it out on Amazon. Also brought to you by A Sweet Psalmist by Serena Wagner, based on the life of David, including 30 Quiz of Pains and King David Psalms. Amazon.com, keyword Sweet Psalmist Serena Wagner. Also check out the Mike Wagner Show at themikewagnershow.com, 50 podcast platforms, heard in over 100 countries, including Facebook, SoundCloud, Spreaker, Spotify, iHeartRadio, also Apple Music, BitChute, Rumble, YouTube, and more. And also, don't forget to follow us on Instagram, LinkedIn, Twitter, TikTok, and more. We're here for a terrific gentleman who spent 26 years in finance markets as one of Australia's leading bond and swap brokers. Also, discovered meditation in early stages of career when anxiety and chaos he experienced hit a crisis point. Also, the founder of the Stillness Project, which is a global movement to inspire 1 billion people to sit still daily. And also a meditation teacher, transformation coach, speaker, and author of 6 books, and producer of the film The Portal. Talk about that. Live, ladies and gentlemen, Plus Studios in beautiful downtown Sydney, Australia. The amazing meditation teacher, transformation coach, and producer of The Portal. We got the multi-talented Tom Cronin. Tom, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Thanks for joining us today.
Hey, it's good to be here. Looking forward to our chat, Mike. Thanks for inviting me along today.
Well, it's great to have you on board, Tom. So you spent 26 years in finance markets, one of Australia's leading board and swap brokers. You also discovered meditation in early stages of career with when anxiety and chaos you experienced hit a crisis point. You're founder of the Stillness Project, which is a global movement to inspire 1 billion people to sit still for daily or for about a minute or so, which I'm trying to do here. So also meditation teacher, transformation coach, speaker, and author of 6 books, and producer of the film The Portal, which is a new movie experiencing a documentary. And it's basically created of a bold global vision to overcome a number of chronic levels of anxiety, depression, PTSD, and more. For getting into that, Tom, tell us how you first got started.
Well, it was a little while back. I was a broker in finance in 1987 at the age of 19. It was actually the same year that Jordan Belfort, the Wolf of Wall Street, started his career.
Oh, wow. Okay. That was amazing. 19. How you like that? I don't know what I did in 97, to be honest with you. Was I trading or what? So maybe savings or something. I forget where I was. So
yeah. So Jordan Belfort, he was 22. I was 19. And it was kind of like the wild, wild west of finance markets back then. And things were pretty crazy. And I got swept into the culture and the lifestyle. Before long, you're doing a lot of hectic adrenaline-fueled trading and also lots of partying, drinking, drugs. And what this led to was a lot of anxiety and panic attacks and depression and addiction and a lot of self-loathing. And it's sort of quite an unpleasant time in my life. And this kind of exacerbated and morphed into a point where things kind of blew up, and I had quite an unpleasant and uncomfortable time in life. And I was going into a really dark depression at that point.
Oh, wow.
And it was in this time that I was at home having some mental health leave from work, and I was watching a documentary about a property developer who was very successful. But he talked about how he used transcendental meditation as a tool for his success. And that was a real epiphany for me. And so that was where I realized that it was time for me to change my ways, and maybe instead of using all the partying and drinking, but to use maybe meditation as a tool for stress management. And that was a big turning point for me in my life.
Mm-hmm. And certainly indeed as well, too, with being that precise moment where you're sitting to watch a documentary. And what was that other point that simply influenced you into what you do in the rest of your career?
Well, I looked up Yellow Pages. Some of you young kids might not understand.
I remember that. I had that as a kid, too. I just love looking through it, not just bright and yellow, but all kinds of cool names in there. Yes, you get Pharaoh, who lives what and everything. I remember that.
Yeah. So I looked up M for meditation, and then I started ringing all the different centers. And I went to an introductory talk by a meditation teacher who's still teaching today, a very prolific man. This was 30 years ago, Tom Knowles. And he did his introductory talk, and he talked a lot about the benefits of meditation and how it takes us out of this stress response and put us into this peace response, a calm state. And that improves your brain functionality, your biochemistry, your physiology. And that was a really big turning point for me. So I learned that technique, and it turned my life around very quickly.
Certainly did as well too. That you also created the Stillness Project as well too. Getting 1 billion people to sit still. Tell us more about that.
Well, you know what I noticed very quickly from this meditation, after just sitting still for just a few minutes every day, 20 minutes in the morning, 20 minutes in the afternoon, my entire life started to change. It was quite significant how a lot of those anomalies that doctors and psychologists and psychiatrists couldn't simply cure or fix, that were simply being reorganized and restructured and, restored the balance through my own physiology, my body's capacity to fix itself. But what I did was I used the meditation to create that stillness. And so what I decided was that I wanted to bring this to the world in a big way. I could see a lot of the world's problems, a lot of individual people's problems were a result of simply having too much stimulation, too much trauma in their bodies, and that the meditation played an integral role in fixing that. So I wanted to inspire 1 billion people to meditate daily and see if that could bring some change to the planet.
Also, I don't know if you know anything about frequencies and everything like that. Do you think the frequencies have gotten too high or too low or anything like that? The ideal is 432. Do you think we're getting like an unhealthy frequency?
Look, I think collectively, if we take all of the people on the planet and we measure their current vibrational resonance or state, a lot of people are in fear, they're in anger, they're in grief, they're in anxiety, they're in shame and guilt. And these are very low frequencies when we take the individual vibrational resonance of a person. And what we want to do is we want to get the world into high vibration. So 528 hertz is love, peace is 600 hertz, enlightenment is 700 hertz. So we do want to get into high vibrational states. We talk about high vibe and low vibe. They're a very low vibe person or a high vibe person. So I think what we want is individuals into higher frequencies through something like meditation, reading positive content, talking positive things, eating positive food. But unfortunately, we have a lot of the world geared towards low vibrational experiences, alcohol, drugs, unhealthy food, processed food, negative news, negative gossip. All of that's very low vibration, and that's keeping us in that state of sickness.
How do you measure the vibrations in you, and what vibration are you at?
Well, it's a really good point. They're getting more and more technologies that are able to check people's vibrational resonance. We've got aura readings and things like that. But if I was to just suggest to you, let's just watch a horror film or something really sad like The Notebook or something really scary, what you'll find is that your body's state, the feeling level of your body will be quite different than if you were to say someone rang you and said, hey, listen, you've just won $15 million.
I'd love to have that right now.
And that's a really good statement. I would love to have that right now. What you would love to have is the feeling that that's going to give you. That's what you're looking for. You're looking for the feeling. Okay, so immediately your feeling changed a little bit. You started laughing and you started leaning in towards that experience because what you're looking for is the feeling, and the feeling is a vibration. All your feelings are vibrations, and you've got low feelings, which are low vibrations. I'm afraid, I'm feeling guilt, I'm feeling sadness, I'm feeling anger. We've got high vibrations, which is, oh my gosh, I feel free, I feel safe, I feel certain, I feel a sense of joyfulness. So we don't necessarily need a gadget or a machine to check our feelings. We can just check in with ourselves and go, am I feeling uplifted today and positive, or am I feeling really flat and low energy and really negative?
Mm-hmm. And you say the enlightenment is at 700. At 700, is that the highest it can achieve, or what is the highest frequency that's out there?
What we've started to notice is that one of the highest frequencies on the planet is between 700 and 1,000 hertz when it comes to a human state. So we're not talking about gamma rays or X-rays or ultraviolet rays. What we're talking about is the frequency or the feeling level of a human that has the full range of different feelings in a body. And what we found when we look at all human experiences, And there's only so much that the human can experience as far as a state that they're in. And what we found is between 700 to 1,000 is the highest experience you can get as far as the pinnacle of the human experience. And that's really what others would call enlightenment.
Got it. Okay. And plus with a billion people over there, it's like, how do you figure if a billion people are actually tuned in, or is it close? Or it's like, how do you figure that 1 billion people are in tune right now? And if they are, what will be like, say, morning, noon, night, or like a precise time or anything like that?
Yeah, what we tend to find is the global collective vibrational state fluctuates based upon a number of different things. So when SEP 11 happened, we had collectively a lot of the world dropping into grief, sadness, anger, and that was quite a heavy time on the planet. And when we see major crises on the planet and we see a lot of news being conveyed about these crises, we tend to find the frequencies drop down. We don't collectively have a lot of high vibration happening on the planet. There are definitely pockets of the world where we find that there is quite high frequencies on that planet. So we tend to find there's some quite high vibrational areas like Bali, Sedona. We've got places like in Hawaii. We've got places like Byron Bay in Australia. We've got Greece. We've got Ibiza. And these high vibrational vortexes on the planet naturally pull people who are drawn to being in higher frequencies. And then you've got some really low frequency areas on the planet where there's a lot of conflict, a lot of negativity, a lot of pain and suffering and violence. So I won't mention those places. We don't want to put our attention on them, but
don't even dare. It's like you'll probably discourage people from visiting too. So unless they want to bring the high vibes, that's fine too. Give that a try.
But what we want to do is we want to create the vibes ourselves. We want to be a vortex or a sovereign state individually of being high vibrational and not being dependent upon anything outside of ourselves to achieve that high state. Obviously, we can go to places that will have really high vibrations, and that's going to help us get into a high vibration. But what we want is we want 7-8 billion people to be sovereign in their high vibrational state, and that then will change the entire planet.
Mm-hmm. And certainly it did as well too. And of course, speaking of plants and everything, we'll be transitioning over to the new movie, The Portal. We'll talk about that with Tom Cronin. But first, listen to the Mike Wagner Show at the MikeWagnerShow.com, powered by SoundGrab Studios. Visit online at SoundGrabStudios.com for all your needs. Look at a professional website without breaking your budget. SoundGrab Studios is the answer. SoundGrab Studios offers fast, affordable custom web designs that blow the competition away. Call today, 1-800-303-3960. It's 1-800-303-3960. Or email to support@SoundGrabStudios.com. Mention the Mike Wagner Show. Get 20% off your first project. Sonic Web Studios. Take your image to the next level. Also, time to give an official shout out to our official sponsor of the Mike Wagner Show, international warring author Mia Molson-Zia. If you love fast-paced mysteries, you love Missing by Mia Molson-Zia, available on Amazon and paperback and ebook. Missing is fast-paced and intriguing with an unforgettable twist. Takes place in 4 countries, 2 strangers, 1 target, where truth is illusion and those who love you to first go missing. It's available on Amazon and paperback and ebook. Missing by Mia Molson-Zia has garnered great reviews. In E11 endorsed by Howard celebrities including Joanna Cassidy, Forrest Riley, and many others. So grab your copy today before it goes Missing by Mia Molson-Zia, available on Amazon. Coming soon, Missing 2, Double the Suspense, Double the Fun. Check it out on Amazon. Also brought by Sweet Psalmist by Serena Wagner, based on the life of David, including 30 exquisite paintings and King David's Psalms. The Sweet Psalmist gives a new perspective of the Psalms he wrote as the time of the shepherd started and complicate yet turmoil relationship with King Saul. It's a story of love, betrayal, repentance, hope, and more. Check out the Sweet Psalmist by Serena Wagner on Amazon. Keyword Sweet Psalmist Serena Wagner. Also check out the Mike Wagner Show at the MikeWagnerShow.com. 50 podcast platforms. Heard in 110 countries. Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, Twitter, TikTok, and more, along with Spreaker, SoundCloud, iHeartRadio, Apple Music, BitChute, Rumble, YouTube, and more. Make sure you take us with you on any mobile device. And for great gift ideas, go to Amazon.com. Check out the Mike Wagner Show podcast. T-shirts, pop sockets, throw pillows, tote bags, hoodies. Makes great gifts 24/7. Go to Amazon.com. Check out the Mike Wagner Show podcast. And for more great gift ideas, go to Amazon.com/Mia Molson-Zia for great books like Missing, Once, and Wrinkles, cool merchandise, and more. Amazon.com/MiaMolsonzia, and support the Mike Wagner Show on Anchor FM, PayPal, and the MikeWagnerShow.com. We're here with amazing meditation teacher, transformation coach, and also author of 6 books and the producer of The Portal, Tom Cronin, here on the Mike Wagner Show. Before we get to The Portal, you've authored 6 books as well, too, and tell us about some of those.
Yeah, so we've got the first one is a children's book called Missy Moo Meditates. And it's about Missy Moo and her sister Boo, teaching her how to meditate. And that's for young kids. My wife and I co-wrote that together. And then I've got a couple of books, one on how to sleep better, one how to reduce anxiety, one on the 7 states of consciousness called Spirit and Soul, one on the mechanics of change and how to navigate consistent change through life without having too much turbulence and mayhem. And then the last one is the extracts from the Portal film called The Portal Book. And we look at 6 individual personal stories that have gone through crisis and how to move through crisis using the tool of meditation, and how we can look at our own individual crisis and collective crisis that we're going through as a species collectively.
And speaking of the portal as well, too, maybe you can highlight a couple of people in the movie as well, too. Basically, it's a global vision to overcome a number of things like anxiety, depression, PTSD. You mentioned there's 6 people on there. Maybe you can highlight just a couple for us.
Yeah, Buddha is a wonderful story about an African-American U.S. Marine that had PTSD from his time in the Gulf. And it looks at how he was really struggling with life. And then when he found transcendental meditation, it really turned his life around and helped him be free from the trauma and the past impacts of that war, and to actually start finding a lot of peace. A really great story with Buddha in that. We've got Zwei, who's a U.S. Vietnamese refugee, and she came from Vietnam and entered into the slums or the almost like the ghettos of Philadelphia, lived in a very poor environment, and eventually got a scholarship to Harvard and became a very successful, intelligent scholar. And with that came a lot of challenges, and she had a lot of stress and felt very alienated, and how she found meditation as a tool for her transformation through that very difficult time. So 2 really great, powerful stories of people that overcame crises and challenges and used meditation as a tool for transformation.
Mm-hmm. And what was that one precise moment that simply influenced you into producing a portal?
Well, it was quite a journey, that one, and quite a difficult journey creating a film and book, a lot harder than I thought. But, I was quite inspired by The Secret. It was a great film that brought a very esoteric subject, the law of magnetism, the law of attraction, to the world and mainstreamed it. So from there, I thought, why couldn't I do the same with a film about meditation? So that was one of the sort of starting points when I saw The Secret, to think about how can I replicate that idea of storytelling and science and knowledge in a film that was quite entertaining. And that's where the Portal film was born.
Mm-hmm. And of course, you worked with some people as well, too, and maybe some of the people behind the project, and who are some of your favorite directors you grew up watching, movies, actors, and everything like that.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of films. I love movies. I'm a bit of a movie buff, and there's so many brilliant movies in the world. And I wanted to see if we could make something unique. A film that I was really inspired by was Captain Fantastic. I really love the storytelling of that. It's such a rich and beautiful film. I think stories and movies that can really get into the heart, get us out of our heads and into our hearts, are really powerful films. And, we have a really wonderful director, Jackie Pfeiffer, who worked on the film, A Beautiful Soul. And she did an incredible job of conveying those stories in a way that was intimate and really relatable and connectable. And she brought such a beautiful sense of sensitivity to the storytelling of those stories in the film.
Mm-hmm. And of course, the people you experience in there too, like with anxiety, depression, PTSD, trauma, and everything like that. And maybe you can share insights on, people are going through the same thing, and how can they manage to overcome, just like the characters in the film.
Yeah, if we've got anxiety or trauma, PTSD, depression, really what's showing up there is your body is giving you signals that things need to change. And when it's like the red light on the dashboard, when we get a red light on our dashboard of our car, what we don't want to do is just try and block out the red light. We don't want to put like sticky tape over it. We want to actually find out what caused that red light to come on. So anxiety, PTSD, trauma, depression, panic attacks, insomnia, these are all cues or signals from the body that it's time for you to do things differently. It's time for you to change. And what that doesn't mean is taking medication and just making that go away, because really what's happening is that the underlying cause of that anomaly is still going to be there. And so what I found was that having a deep meditation practice on a consistent daily basis is profoundly effective at helping the body get into deep states of rest and allowing the body to start healing itself. So if we just take medication but don't look at the underlying stress response that's showing up in the body, we're really just masking the problem. What we've got to do is get the body out of that stress response and put it into a very deep state of calm, and that allows the body to start healing itself. And if we take the analogy of the broken leg, when we put a cast around a broken leg, the leg has the capacity to heal itself, but we need to create the stillness for the body's intelligence to get to work and do what it does best. And that's where meditation comes in. It's a very effective tool for helping the body heal itself.
Yeah. And what are some of the warning signs that, show up, like with the things we mentioned, like trauma, PTSD, depression, all that? What are some of the warning signs in your body that's telling you, like, say, with blurred vision, short breath and everything? What are some of the signs and symptoms that you should be really looking for, as you mentioned about the red light in the car?
So some of the signals would be, firstly, the tapping leg syndrome. So that's when people are sitting on a train or on a bus and they just can't stop tapping their legs. So that's excess cortisol and adrenaline. We've got people that can't fall asleep very easily at night. So their mind is just ruminating and turning over, and they've got a lot of cortisol and overthinking going on. We might find that we're waking up at 2 or 3 in the morning and can't go back to sleep. Again, another signal that there's a lot of excess cortisol and adrenaline in our blood and overthinking. We might find that we need to start our day with a caffeine because we just can't seem to get going and get moving this unless we have caffeine. We might find that we simply are craving sugar all the time and we go for that sugar hit around 2 or 3 in the afternoon. We might find that we're addicted to junk food, and we might find that we're addicted to our phone and dopamine through things like Netflix, Spotify, and scrolling through TikTok and Instagram. These are very simple signals that are cues that there's an early stage of hyperstimulation, adrenaline, cortisol, dopamine craving going on. Now, we've got more extreme examples where you're getting these sort of waves of panic attack. You're very easily triggered emotionally by circumstances in life. You find that you can get angry very easily, anxious very easily, or sad very easily. Again, really big cues that you need to start changing what you're currently doing. Have less time on your phone, less time to getting distracted, less caffeine, less drugs, less drinking, and really start looking at other healthier methodologies that are going to help you get into a more sovereign, calm, and energized state without all those other synthetic external methodologies.
Mm-hmm. You talked about the cortisol and everything like that with excessive. How do you manage to control the levels of cortisol? Of course, trying to avoid taking drugs to control. How do you manage to control the excessive level of cortisol, bring it back to normal?
So there's a couple of things we can do if we've got high cortisol and adrenaline in our blood. Firstly, the most basic of all is doing very strenuous exercise 2 or 3 times a week. And everyone, no matter how old you are, if you're 60, 70, 80 years old, still do a workout that gets you into a sweat. So as a human being and as a species, we really want to keep that physical movement happening. So that's the first one. The second one is we need to spend time in nature. So really getting out of our concrete buildings, spending time, ideally barefoot, walking through forests, swimming in the ocean, jumping into rivers, really getting into that natural alignment with natural law and with nature itself. We forget as humans that we are part of nature. Looking at your diet is a really important one. So if we're just continuously putting very unhealthy food into our body, then our body's going to be pushed into that stress response. It's going to be craving nutrients. It's going to be craving proper vitamins and minerals. And that's going to alleviate that stress response by eating proper diet. I would really look at things like stretching on a consistent basis. So really doing yoga in some way, shape or form, just go onto YouTube and do some stretching and yoga. But the key component I found, and one of the most significant, is to do Vedic meditation or transcendental meditation. Find a teacher that's qualified that is going to be able to teach you how to use that mantra and get into those deeper states of meditation will really reduce the cortisol, because your body just won't need it when you're in that peace response, that parasympathetic nervous system.
Mm-hmm. And plus, this also affects careers as well, too. And how do we do that with career and trying to bring that in line? We'll talk about with Tom Cronin from The Portal. You listen to The Mike Wagner Show at themikewagnershow.com, powered by Sonic Web Studios, brought to you by official sponsor of The Mike Wagner Show, international warring author Mia Molson's Missing, The Sweet Psalmist by Serena Wagner, based on life of David, including 30 exquisite paintings and King David Psalms, Amazon.com, keyword Sweet Psalmist Serena Wagner. We'll be back in multi-talent Tom Cronin of The Portal after this time out.
The Mike Wagner Show is powered by Sonic Web Studios. If you're looking to start or upgrade your online presence, visit www.sonicwebstudios.com for all of your online needs. Call 1-800-303-3960 or visit us online at www.sonicwebstudios.com to get started today. Mention The Mike Wagner Show and get 20% off your project. Sonic Web Studios. Take your image to the next level.
Hey there, Dana Alexa here, American News anchor. Hey, let me ask you something real quick. Why do you read a book? You're buying a story, a thought, a message, and a good book entertains and inspires, and that's exactly what Missing by award-winning author Mian Zia does. I have his book right here, and it's based on real events with relatable characters that hook you from start to finish. I personally love this book. It's super powerful and meaningful. You can actually get it on Amazon right now.
The Mike Wagner Show is brought to you by Serena Wagner's book, The Sweet Psalmist, now available on Amazon. This book includes 30 exquisite paintings by well-known and unknown painters and King David Psalms. The Sweet Psalmist gives us a new perspective on his life in this book. Through the Psalms he wrote, his time as a shepherd in the field is where the book starts, and it goes on to describe his complicated and turbulent relationship with King Saul, as well as other events. It's a story of love, betrayal, repentance, and more. It also offers advice on approaching God and living a life that pleases him. Check out the book, The Sweet Psalmist by Serena Wagner, now available on Amazon. Keywords, Sweet Psalmist, Serena Wagner.
Hey, this is Ray Powers, and boy, are you in luck. Right place, right time. Tuned in to The Mike Wagner Show. You heard me.
We're back to the multi-talented Tom Cronin of The Portal here on The Mike Wagner Show. And before we talk a bit more about the movie The Portal, people are saying about what's been in the news about being in line, being in tune, being aligned with your career. And how do you make that happen too? Like with, meditation and, being aligned with your career, because you talked about being in the finance markets, and then, stress levels really hit you and went to break down. And of course, some people have been in careers where it's like, let's say with construction, banking, whatever, and all of a sudden it's like, they're feeling some attacks, they hate their job and everything like that. What's the best advice out there for someone that's finding the right career that's in line with their purpose instead of, we're in for the money and end up feeling miserable?
Yeah, we've got two things to consider here. Firstly, there's the natural need and requirement to be able to feed ourselves, house ourselves, clothe ourselves, have electricity bills, maybe pay car registration, buy a car, travel, train tickets. So there's that underlying essential requirement for us to be able to be sustainable and self-sufficient financially. So that is, for most of us, meaning that we need to go out and have a job. And make an exchange for our time, our techniques, the skills that we bring to the world, and we get paid a weekly, monthly remuneration for that. So if we are in the bare basics of just get a job and make some money because that's a necessity, then go about and do that, and that's okay. Traditionally in the past, people were blacksmiths, candle makers, bakers, carpenters, and that was just, I need a job, I need to provide something of value to the world, and I need to receive some money so I can actually survive. And that's okay if it's just down into the basics of doing that on a manual level. If along the way you start tapping into that incredible innate skill sets and capabilities that you start to realize and think, wow, I've got these wonderful gifts that I can bring to the world. I'd like to do something a little bit more meaningful, a little bit more purposeful. I'd like to use my skill sets, the things that I've learned, and I'd like to share that with the world in a way that I can make a quantifiable financial transaction for. Then we can start moving into more purposeful careers. And that is where you're doing things that you're really aligned with. You really love it, whether you're an entrepreneur creating an ice cream shop or an entrepreneur what I call a soulpreneur or a spiritual entrepreneur, where you're running retreats, you're a yoga teacher, you're a meditation teacher, or you making cacao, to bring out to the world, or wonderful gluten-free cookies that you want to sell.
You're making me hungry already, Tom. Make me hungry.
So really listen into those gifts that you've got, and how do you bring that into a business model? So I do a lot of mentoring and coaching for people who are wanting to make that transition out of just a day job where they're making money for the purpose of, trying to survive, into something that's a lot more meaningful and purposeful. And how do you make that a career that is a sustainable business? So that's a big thing that we want to start looking at, is the next stage of that.
Mm-hmm. And plus, not just you being a producer of the portal, you also have the app as well, too. And tell us more about that. There's more to the portal than just a movie.
Yeah, the portal was like an ecosystem of a business where we had a film, we had a book, we had an app, we had online programs. And just a little bit of story about the app. Sometimes business won't go how you think it should or would. And that's quite often the case. I think something like 85% of businesses fail in the first 3 years. And look, the portal, we definitely had some challenges. It was not an easy, straight, linear line that took us to great levels of success and wealth. So we had a lot of challenges, and one of them was the app. We used a white label app, which is a company that creates the template for the app, and then you use their template, and then you put your content into their app template. And this is what we call white label apps. It's a lot cheaper as an entry point. You've got lower risk because you don't have to spend a huge capital outlay to build your app, because someone's already built the template. And you just put your content in there. The problem with that is if the white label company goes bankrupt, then you lose your app. And that's what happened to us. So we lost
my gosh. Yeah, I was thinking about doing that myself. At least you gave us some notice on that one. So we got to learn something, right? So
yeah, sometimes the lessons we learn are quite expensive, and that one was definitely a valuable lesson, but an expensive one. And that was that we'd lost the sovereignty and the ownership of our own project through using a cheaper option, which was going into that white label app. And so now we don't have an app, and that's okay. We've got online programs though, so people can still download our masterclass and learn how to reduce anxiety through that 12-step program.
Mm-hmm. And what do you want people to learn from the portal as well, too, with the movie?
Just to know that, whatever you're going through, it's always a supportive process, even though it might seem like you're in a state of tragedy or misery or suffering. And, I still go through difficult times. The thing that I'm learning more about, though, is when I'm in a difficult time, is to know that difficult time isn't there to punish me, or it's not there because I'm a bad person. It's there to help support me in growing, evolving, and that beyond that difficult time, if you're open and adaptive to learning what that lesson is in that difficult time, you will get on the other side of that, and things will be better, brighter, clearer, and more loving, and more joyful, and more successful. But just open yourself up to the possibility that this is offering you an opportunity, even though it might be difficult and challenging at the same time.
And lastly, how can we help?
Well, I think, I have my main primary objective is to teach people to meditate. So if someone is finding life difficult and they're very stressed or overwhelmed, then go to my website, tomcronin.com, or go to my Instagram, Tom Cronin, reach out to me, send me a message, and see how I can support you by learning to meditate. And otherwise, come to my retreats. I've got one in Bali. I have one in Australia. And I'm here to support people to get to that next level of greater success, greater clarity, greater peace and calm.
And how about the movie, The Portal, and how it works at?
So they can go to the website's entertheportal.com, and they can find the film and the book there on that website, and they can watch the film for free. We're gifting that to the world at the moment for free. I'm not sure if that will continue on. We are looking for a deal with Netflix or Amazon. So if they're out there listening and you want a really amazing film in your library, then come and speak to us.
And what's the website again for The Portal?
Enter the Portal, ENTER, and then the Portal.
.com. We want everybody to check it out right now. We're here with the amazing Tom Cronin of The Portal here on the Mike Wagner Show. Tom, just a few more things. What else can we expect in 2025 and beyond?
Well, I'm very excited about bringing meditation to the world in a big way. So just increasing more people getting access to that program and doing the course with me. It's in a live format on Zoom and in person here in Australia, or in Zoom from anywhere around the world, and increasing more people coming to our retreats. we were looking to run a retreat in America in 2026, but currently it's very, very difficult to get into America, and they're not letting me have my visa to go.
Oh my gosh, it's more difficult than ever, even trying to Canada, Mexico, and everything like that. It's like, whoo, what's next? Oh my gosh. Whoops, I think I'm lowering my frequency by accident. I get a level. Thank you.
Yeah, so we won't be running a retreat in America at this stage because it's a little bit too challenging to get in there. But we do have that intention at some point, somewhere maybe Mexico or Costa Rica. But at the moment, we've got one in Bali and possibly one in Dubai next year.
Okay, sounds great. So keep us up to date and let us know when you're coming to America, Tom. And who do you consider biggest influence in your career?
Look, my teacher, Tom Knowles, has played quite an integral role in my life. But I think one of my three of my greatest mentors have been my wife, Jen, and my two children, Taj and Lauren. They continually inspire me and motivate me and help me become a better person.
That's certainly amazing. Family does help. What's the best advice you can give to anybody at this point?
Know that even though life is difficult, you're always loved, not by other people. Of course, there are people out there that will love you unconditionally, but the divine source, God, is actually always supporting you, inspiring you. And sometimes it can be painful in its support, just like a parent that's trying to discipline a naughty child. If we're off track and we need a little bit of a nudge or a bit of a push, sometimes it can be a bit challenging. But there is what I'm learning. It takes time to see this, but there is this caring, benevolent force that is guiding us and supporting us, and to trust that is going to be one of the key things in your journey forward.
And I think that's really important as well, too. It's really amazing. We're here with the multi-talented Tom Cronin of The Portal here on the Mike Wagner Show. Tom, a very, very thank you for your time. You've been absolutely fantastic. Learned a lot. Looking forward to having you soon. Keep us up to date. Keep in touch. Glad to have you back. What's your website? How do people contact you? Where can people purchase or check out your works?
Instagram is a great place, Tom Cronin, or one word, TomCronin, and my website, tomcronin.com. Two great places to go to find everything about what I do. Hopefully you can reach out, send me a message. I look forward to hearing from them.
And also The Portal, where can we find that at?
Entertheportal.com. It's also on my website, Tom Cronin, as well. So both websites.
We will certainly check that out. Once again, Tom, a very big thank you for your time. You've been absolutely fantastic. Looking forward to having you soon. Keep us up to date. Keep in touch. Love to have you back. We wish you all best. And Tom, you definitely have a great future ahead of you.
Thank you very much. Thanks for listening, everyone. It's been great to share space with you all.
The Mike Wagner Show is powered by Sonic Web Studios. If you're looking to start or upgrade your online presence, visit www.sonicwebstudios.com for all of your online needs. Call 1-800-303-3960 or visit us online at www.sonicwebstudios.com to get started today. Mention the Mike Wagner Show and get 20% off your project. Sonic Web Studios. Take your image to the next level.
Hey there, Dana Alexa here, American news anchor. Hey, let me ask you something real quick. Why do you read a book? You're buying a story, a thought, a message, and a good book entertains and inspires, and that's exactly what Missing by award-winning author Mian Zia does. I have his book right here, and it's based on real events with relatable characters that hook you from start to finish. I personally love this book. It's super powerful and meaningful. You can actually get it on Amazon right now.
The Mike Wagner Show is brought to you by Serena Wagner's book, The Sweet Psalmist, now available on Amazon. This book includes 30 exquisite paintings by well-known and unknown painters and King David Psalms. The Sweet Psalmist gives us a new perspective on his life in this book. Through the Psalms he wrote, his time as a shepherd in the field is where the book starts, and it goes on to describe his complicated and turbulent relationship with King Saul as well as other events. It's a story of love, betrayal, repentance, and more. It also offers advice on approaching God and living a life that pleases him. Check out the book, The Sweet Psalmist by Serena Wagner, now available on Amazon. Keywords, Sweet Psalmist, Serena Wagner.
Thanks for listening to The Mike Wagner Show, powered by Sonic Web Studios. Visit online at sonicwebstudios.com for all your needs. The Mike Wagner Show can be heard on Spreaker, Spotify, iHeartRadio, iTunes, YouTube, Anchor FM, Radio Public, and themikewagnershow.com. Please support our program with your donations at themikewagnershow.com. Join us again next time for another great episode of The Mike Wagner Show.